Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. So I want to talk today about something that's pretty common in people, and it's called hyperpronation. And it's something that can happen to your feet here. And what it is it's when you're weight bearing that your foot, your sort of back foot collapses in too much. Sort of, I don't know if you can see it on the video there, but I'm sort of trying to demonstrate that inward collapsing that can happen. And sometimes it's associated with being flat-footed, not always, but sometimes. And you may also notice it in people too, if they're standing, they're sort of almost knock-kneed. And that's oftentimes because they pronate. It can also be from muscle weaknesses, but so when the foot hyperpronates like that, it can create that internal turning of this bottom bone called your tibia on the top bone, your femur. Now, between those two bones, you have these thick C-shaped pads. They're called meniscus. And those are the sort of the shock absorbers, the two shocks between the two bones. But if people hyperpronate, what ends up happening is it's often associated with that internal turning of the bone, of the bottom bone on the top bone. And what happens is that now you end up generally putting more stress on the back inside part of that thick meniscus pad. And it's kind of similar to a car that has alignment that's not right. What'll happen is that car now is gonna wear a certain portion of the tire as opposed to evenly distributing weight. And it's very similar in people. So these pronation issues, they're not life-threatening, but they can be cumulative, right? And so if you're continually loading unevenly in things like your feet, your knees, and your hips and your low back, it can have a cumulative impact. There are things you can do. I mean, obviously, make sure your feet are flexible. That goes without saying. Make sure your feet are strong. Skip rope, do tippy-toe exercises, bring your toes up. All your joints, you want them to be strong and flexible. Okay, that goes for everything. And you got 26 or 25 bones in the foot, so lots of joints. And these are all big weight-bearing joints, and so if your knees go or your feet go, man, you feel it. So important to your freedom and mobility. Now, one of the things that I am a pretty big supporter of is custom-made orthotics. Now, if someone hyperpronates, generally these can be pretty good, especially down the road. If you get a set of orthotics and you're thinking, boy, they're gonna fix my back or foot issues, sometimes they will, but generally the reason you get this is so that your body's gonna work in an efficient way. You're gonna unload your feet normally, set up your joints, your knees, your hips to sort of take even distribution, and it should result in you having longer lasting joints, or hopefully joints that last your whole life. So thank you for watching. You can get generic insoles, Dr. Scholl's is a classic brand. I might encourage you, if you're gonna go that route, if you're gonna go a non-custom route, I might encourage you to go to like your local running store. And they often have 2 or 3 brands there that sort of range in the $50-ish range. And now those types of insoles aren't necessarily gonna change your feet, but they should help promote a healthier, healthier balance. Whereas a custom orthotic should actually change your feet over time. And sometimes people need several prescriptions over the years because, the foot has reached kind of a maximum, much like braces. And if you have your braces, you might need to get them periodically tuned. Anyway, that's my take on pronation and orthotics. And if you want to get an orthotic, you're going to have to see a healthcare professional, something like chiropractor, podiatrists, physiotherapists. And generally, they will take a cast or an impression of your foot, and then they mail it off to a local laboratory and you get these made. Okay, best of luck, keep those feet healthy, and hope we get to see you again soon.